I contacted Lars because I said, what are you working on? And I think he had no particular thought of me being in this movie. I think he was really fixated on getting the actress first, and then he'd cast the man off of the actress. So I was lucky that I just happened to kind of say to my representative, I said, well, do you know what Lars von Trier is doing? Then they put a call into him, and Lars called me back, and we talked a little bit, and he said, well, this is what I'm doing. Didn't really say read it or this is something for you. He said, you know, this is what I'm doing. And I said, it's great. And he said, well, would you like to do it? So that was sort of a beautiful accident. He's entertaining, he's bright. As an artist, he's always challenging himself and challenges the people around him. He's easy to trust because he's really good at what he does. I know few people that give of themselves personally as much to their work as he does. And I had interesting things to do in the movie. I'm nature. All the things that you call nature.
Okay, Mr. Nature.
He guided everything, not just as a... it was one of those weird situations, not only as the director, but he was also... He was the director and the muse kind of at the same time, because who he is and how he was acting and how he was, you know, bearing up impacted on the film every day. And he was in a place where things were still volatile, so that I think that colored the approach. But having said that, there was something kind of very intimate and loving about the approach, even though this is a very dark movie. And I think it's because he's really appreciated that Charlotte and I made ourselves available to him when he didn't feel like he was in the best shape. He was apologizing constantly for himself. But that was a relative thing because there was plenty of him there.
But you're not a doctor.
No, I'm not. And I'm proud that I'm not when I meet a doctor like him. There is nothing atypical about your grief.
Charlotte said that the most difficult moments for her, or the most challenging moments for her, were not the ones where she was naked, but the ones where she was naked physically, you could say, but the ones where she was naked emotionally. Did you feel the same way with this film and these scenes? As an actor,
for me, my job was slightly different because some of the times I had to drive the scenes, because she's the one that in some of the scenes is distraught and is at the early in the story. I'm trying to help her, and we had quite wordy scenes that were quite long and quite verbal scenes, and they were like scenes in bed. We never worked out the actions or anything. We never quite knew where they were going to go. So I guess the most difficult thing was always balancing. I had to have a plan to drive the scene. And because she's more a passive character in those scenes, I had to drive the scene, but also I didn't want to step on her, whatever she was doing. So it was always exhausting and a fine line to walk to find a balance of driving things, but letting enough air remain there. Let's make a list of things you're afraid of. At the top, we put the situation you fear the most. The whole point was sort of to help Lars do what he wanted to do. And I trust that, and that's always with a strong director. I like being in that position. Actually, that wasn't my question. Somebody asked that question in the press conference, and it never really occurred to me.
Hi, that's Matty Boy from the Daily Mail. Mr. Von Trier, I've read all your various notes about this film. I heard you give an interview a few minutes ago on television. Would you please for my benefit, explain and justify why you made this movie, please. And please, you know, give more than a one-word answer. Thank you very much.
Life is not easy, though.
I don't think I have to justify.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
I think it's a very strange question that I have to excuse myself. I don't feel that. You are all my guests. It's not the other way around. That's how I feel it.
I like Lars's response very much, and I feel great affinity with it. And that was that there's nothing wrong. You know, we aren't putting a gun to this guy's head to go to see the movie. Lars made this movie. He made it for himself. Of course he wants people to like it, but where his point of attention and his attention and intention is an internal one, and I feel the same way. I mean, I'm not a Martian. I always make things for myself, trusting that other people might like the things I like, or might be interested in things I like. And if I discover something and there's something true or interesting about the discovery, other people will be interested in too. So I liked his response where he said, listen, you're my guests. And he said it in a very sweet way. I was shocked at the kind of this idea of having to account for yourselves. You know, some of the greatest art in the world is sort of useless. You got to be able to not be able to account for it, I think. And it's just very conservative and deadening to also have to describe what things mean. And that's kind of implied as well in that demand to justify what you're doing. It is what it is. I always feel most comfortable with it. You know, we aren't pointing at something necessarily. It is what it is. It's a story. It's an interesting story. If it's evocative for you, if it gives you something, great. If it doesn't, what can I say? And this film wasn't for you. All films can't be for all people.